Hi there, I am Chef Lisa and welcome to FoodRight's, a Friday night community cooking night. Usually it's Chef Stephanie, but Chef Stephanie and I arm wrestled and I won, so I am here today and I'm going to be making black bean burgers with you guys. I love this recipe. It was made by our wonderful program assistant Molly, who's a master in the kitchen. And so it's a really simple recipe and really flavorful. You're really going to be surprised. It's a great veggie burger. So before we begin, I guess we should make sure that we get everything together while we wait for other people to come and join us. What do we need? We need, equipment-wise, we need a bowl. We need a colander because we're going to have to drain the beans, right? You're going to need a can opener, of course, because it's black bean veggie burgers and we're making them from canned beans. You're going to need dry measuring cups, measuring spoons. You are going to need something to mash the beans with, and there are lots of different ways you can mash the beans. Of course, you can have the traditional masher. If you don't have a masher, no big deal. You can use a fork, or I have a new way to show you that a student showed Stephanie, and Stephanie showed me. You can use a cup. I'm going to show you all about that. You're going to need something to, of course, we're going to flip the burgers, so you need a spatula, a flippy kind. You're also going to need the kind of spatula where you mix things up, right? Hot mitts, of course, a skillet, of course, for making black bean burgers. I've got my little stove here. I know you're in your kitchen, so it's a little different for you. And that, I think, is all you need for equipment. So, and of course you need something. You need your knife. I'm sorry, I lied. You need your knife. I'm using a chef knife. If you're cooking with littles, you might want to use your paring knife or your scissors. Your scissors, there's plenty for littles to do in this recipe. Always have your washcloth because you want to maintain a clean station. I'm a little bit of a stickler about that one. Okay, cutting board too. Now for ingredients, and I know you guys have all gone to the website and you've downloaded the recipe and you see everything we need, right? It's at foodright.org and it's right there up at the front where recipes are we're under learning. So you can download it there and see all that stuff here. But in case you didn't, I'm just telling you, you need oil. You're going to need salt and pepper, and smoked paprika. I've got it in a little tiny bag here. Smoked paprika. You're going to need some soy sauce. I have it in little tiny packages here. And you're going to need egg, black bean, of course. It's black bean burger. You're going to need, oh my goodness, I almost dropped that. Whole wheat flour. I'm not sure why it's in this container, not a plastic one, but I'll take care of that later. You're going to need breadcrumbs. I've got breadcrumbs here. And you're going to need a bun to put your burger on. You're going to need your condiments. I've got mustard and ketchup. Mustard, ketchup. You might want to have pickles too. You're also going to need your toppings for your burger, right? Lettuce, tomato. I also brought in some pickles. And then lastly, you need green onion, dill, and garlic. There we go. That's what we need. So if you are one of our community partners, and we have several joining us today, you got all that stuff in a meal kit. So you don't have to worry about it. But for the rest of you, you should go to the website. You can download everything you need there. But to our community partners, welcome. Well, let's see, we're cooking today with Bayview Community Center, Casa Maria Hospitality House, COA Youth and Family Center. We have River West Food Pantry, and lastly, Next Door. So welcome to all of our community partners. So let's begin. I think everybody should be here by now, and we should have all of our stuff out and ready to go. Your hands, of course, need to be washed. Mine are. So I'm going to just start going on the recipe. Black bean burgers. Here we go. So the first thing you're going to want to do is open up your can of beans. Some people may need a can opener. I today do not, because I have this kind. Thank you for buying that for me. So there we go. I'm just going to pop the lid here. And we're going to wash them. We're going to drain them in a colander over the sink. Rinse them in cold water, never hot. And then we're going to bring them back with a bowl underneath it. So I've got my sous chef over there in the corner who's moving slow. Leslie is going to help me, and she's going to do that for me. So while she's doing that, I'm going to show you how to, of course, we're going to start mashing them up. That's step number one, is to mash the black beans so that they become like a paste. And so I'll show you the 3 different techniques we have as soon as Leslie gets done.
These are very bubbly.
They're bubbly beans. So I want you guys all to remember that this is not a cooking show. Clearly, it's not a cooking show. It's a cooking lesson. It's a Facebook Live cooking lesson. So if you have any questions, I know it's hard to stop in the middle of cooking, but if you have any questions at all, you can stop and you can type them in. And Mary Kate is here, and she is watching and she's waiting, and she's going to holler out any questions that you might have about how to assemble a fantastic black bean burger. And Leslie was not kidding about these being kind of there we go. All right, they were kind of wet in there. So I'm going to dump these all in here. Rinsed black beans, ready to be mashed. So traditionally what I'd always do is I would use my masher. And black beans are not so hard. I don't know if you've ever tried to mash up like chickpeas, but chickpeas are really, oh my God, they're the worst. They're so hard. But black beans go pretty fast. But I did learn, and so I did learn there's another way you can mash them. There's always the fork method, you know. Forks are good, but they're a little small, right? But if you have a lot of little hands trying to help you, you can give them all a little fork and let them go to town. With my little kids, if their hands are washed, they can use their hands. That's a bit of a mess. I'm not going to do that here, people. But I have done it in the past, and it does go pretty fast. But the third method is to take like a mug like this and just mash it down. And I'm telling you, this goes so fast. And it does. So we don't want it to be mashed to a complete paste, you know. We want it to be mashed partially or rustically, I guess. Like we want a few of the black beans in there to add a little bit of texture. We don't want it to be a perfect puree, so that's why I wouldn't put it in a food processor. So there it is. It's all done for me. They're mashed enough. And they would stick together. They're like a paste now, you know, so they would stick together and form a patty. So that's how I know that they're perfect. Voila, there they are. So now that we've done that, now we're going to get together all of the ingredients that we need to put in here to make the burgers. So there are 3 things that we need to chop up. So I'm going to tackle those first before I start just adding in the spices. So let's start with garlic. So I've got 2 cloves of garlic that I need to put in here. They need to be minced. I'm going to show you the 2 different ways I might, if you have little, so I have 1 garlic clove, I've split them up, right? Here they are, 2. And if you notice, there's a root end and there's a stem end on each piece of garlic. This is how I do it. I don't know if Stephanie did it differently. You can tell me if she did. So I'm going to just show you how to do the, always the pinch grip, right? So I'm pinching right on the blade, right behind the bolster, 3 under. And then I'm going to take the heel of the blade. I'm using the tip of the blade as an anchor. And I'm just going to go down and forward. And I'm just going to shave off that little root end, because nobody wants to eat that. And then I'm going to take the garlic clove and I'm going to set it down flat. And I'm going to put the knife on top. It's flat on top of there. And then I'm going to use the heel of my hand. I'm going to smash it, right? I'm not doing this. I saw the student do that last week. Don't do that. Keep the blade down. And the blade is away from you, not towards you. Smash. See that? And look, it's all like half your work is already done. Paper, gone. Voila. And really the garlic clove is already mashed up. So then you can take your blade, pinch grip. No accusers here, people. Pinch grip. Bear claw, bear claw. That's harder than the pinch grip, I think. And then it's a down and forward, down and forward, down and forward motion, like a choo-choo train. And if your bear claw is correct, you don't even have to look at your hands. Don't do that's for advanced cooks, you know. But you ever watch like a chef on a cooking show, kind of like me, kind of, but I'm doing a cooking lesson. You can see that they don't really look at their hands as they're chopping up. So now I ran it through one time. It's not minced enough, right? Minced means cut into teeny tiny pieces. So I'm going to go back through it, but this time I'm going to do a different cut. There's really only 3 basic cuts. There's the chop, which we just did, and then we're going to do the rock chop. And that's where you're still doing down and forward. So always pressure is going in 2 directions when you use a knife, right? If you just go down, that's not gonna be very productive. So you're gonna go down and forward. And when you do the rock chop, you have to put your hand on top like this, or some people like to do that, but don't do this. Oh, I can't stand that. Come on, get your hand up there. You have 2 hands. God gave you 2 hands. Use them both when you cook. All right, so there it is. That one's minced. And I'm just going to toss it in here because all the stuff we're going to prepare really just goes in that bowl so we can make the black bean burgers. So that was one I did. The other one you can do, and I don't think we have it. We don't have a microplane, do we? Or a grater?
Not out.
Okay, that's fine. So the other thing you can do is another way to get rid of all of the skin off of this, if you have a bunch of garlic, is you can put it in a container, like a plastic container, which I don't have over here, but any kind of container, as long as it's a jar, and then you just shake like the Dickens, and then the paper will come off. And then you can grate it. You can have if your child is working with you, instead of using a knife, you can grate it on a really small microplane grater. That's another way to do it. So otherwise, I'm going to just do it the same way I did before. Shave off just the root end. Smash. There it is. Here's another little tip. I'm going to teach you some more tips. So, you know how garlic is really sticky when you're mincing it? It gets all over your fingers and you can't stop it. It's annoying. If you take a little bit of salt, especially kosher salt, I've got fine, doesn't really matter. The salt kind of draws out the moisture, and it also adds some what's that called? You know, it's like more friction, because it's got more, the crystals add more friction to it, so it mashes up much faster. And it kind of, because the salt releases the moisture in the garlic, it just kind of makes the garlic stick together, as opposed to flying all over the place. So, see, much better, right? All right. So here I am rock chopping again. And when I use it with the salt, when I do the mincing with the salt, it gets much finer. All right. Much easier, much faster. Okay, there it is. So I've minced up 2 cloves of garlic. And in the pot it goes. In the bowl. Okay, next thing that we have to chop up is dill. And we need about 2 tablespoons of dill. So I have fresh dill here. Looks like a fern, right? Looks like a fern. And let's see. I don't think I need all that, actually. I think I need about half of that. That seems to me about 2 tablespoons. I don't want it to be too much more than 2 tablespoons, so I'm going to cut it in half using my pinch grip bear claw. And then I'm going to cut it using the down and forward chop motion. If you have little kids with you, you can, and some people, even adults, like to do it better with a pair of scissors. You can just hold it together, and dill is really easy to mince. That's what we're doing here. You can just give it a little haircut. There it is. Or, here's another thing. I've recently discovered that little kids are quite good with the paring knife. And it's a good kind of stepping stone way to teach them knife skills. So you can teach them to pinch on the blade just like this, 3 under, just like this. And you're going to use this cutting motion. It's a slicing cutting motion where you're using the tip of the blade and you're pulling back and you're pushing down, right? What I said about pressure in 2 directions. So you can do the same thing with a paring knife to mince. And just always make sure that you use your bear claw. Your bear claw, I would say, it's more difficult to learn how to use the bear claw than it is to learn how to use the pinch grip and hold the knife, because it just feels a little awkward. You want to just naturally want to do this or this, but that is naturally how you're going to lose your fingers. And so you should really, that's the one thing you really want to work on. And it feels awkward, but it's almost like my fingernails are kind of digging into the cutting board or to the vegetable, and they're really strong. Like you can't move them, I'm really got a strong grip on that. So now I didn't get it as small as I wanted it to be, right? And we said we were mincing. And so I'm going back and I'm using my regular chef knife and I'm doing the rock chop. Right? It's pretty easy. There's only 3 basic cuts we'd use. The chop, the rock chop, and the slice. That's it. And then you can do all sorts of cuts from there. So it's supposed to be 2 tablespoons. I have made this recipe before and I have just kind of tossed in any amount of dill, and you don't want it to be too dilly. The dill adds a really wonderful flavor, but you don't want it to be too dilly. And I almost did it perfect. I overestimated just a little bit. I'm going to get rid of that. I don't need that. Okay. So there's that. The next thing, the last thing that we have to chop is we have to put in green onions. And we need about 1/4 cup of green onions. And that's about 2 green onions, I think. Did you help pack the bins, Mary Kate?
Yep.
2, did they get 2 green onions?
Everyone got 2.
2 green onions. So whatever you got, if you got a little green onion or a big green onion, you're just going to put, if you're one of our community partners, you're going to put 2 green onions in there. So, and so am I. But if you're making this on your own, it's about 1/4 cup. You could, if you're making this on your own, not do green onions. So I know you all know what a green onion is, but I'm going to just show you anyway for the little kids that are watching. So this is a green onion. This green onion's seen better days. How about this guy? I'm going to show this one. So we got the root end and then we have the stems, right? And so the first thing I do when I cut up a green onion is I chop off, just shave off that little root end. And again, that down and forward, there it is, just the little root guy. If you cut off, I'm going to tell you guys something. So I eat a lot of green onions at home. If you cut off about this much, and you stick that in a jar, it'll grow into more green onions. Or what I've done, I went outside and I just stuck them in the ground, in the dirt, and they turned into onions, people. So I have green onions. I don't even buy onion seeds or plant onions. I just use my old green onions and they turn into green onions in the garden, right? You plant beans, you get beans. So the first thing I like to do is get rid of the roots, which I just did, and get rid of any icky bits. That's a technical term, icky bits. So that is an icky bit to me. This is kind of, that's kind of wilty and icky looking. I don't want to eat that. That's kind of brown and looking not so good. I'm getting rid of that. All right, all the icky bits are gone. Next thing I like to do is just cut the green onion in half so we've got 2 equal sides, and then I just kind of gather them all up, because in cooking, you always do things the logical way and the most efficient way. So instead of going all the way down 1 green onion, you're going to just cut it in half and pile them up. So you can do it a number of ways. I always teach the kids in class. They use it. They use scissors. You don't, not up here. You don't have green onions flying everywhere. Down here, low, like that, and we're mincing. We're mincing, of course. So you could do it that way. As an adult, I wouldn't recommend it, but the paring knife is a much more useful tool than I ever imagined. You can do that slicing motion with the paring knife. Always does a good job. So make sure you got your bear claw. Pear claw. See that? Bear claw. And you just slice back. That's it. Or if you're a full-grown adult with a chef knife, get your chef knife out and just start running it through. And you see how I'm just kind of fighting with my chef knife, like my knuckles are kind of pushing against the blade, and they're kind of pushing it back, and my blade's trying to go forward, and I'm just kind of slowly walking my fingers back with my bear claw. And that is that. Ta-da! I've got my green onions all ready to go, and they are going in the bowl. There they go. So everything is in the bowl that needs to be prepped. And, this is not a real kitchen, so I'm using I wouldn't recommend that at home, but we're doing that here. So let's get in the spices. We need, let me see. We need 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. Ladies, how many of those packs? I am using packs from like a takeout restaurant because we don't have real soy sauce around here. How many of those packs makes 2 tablespoons? Is it 2?
About 1.5.
It's about 1.5?
Yeah.
All right.
Should be 2 teaspoons in each pack.
2 teaspoons in each one. All right. So if you're one of our community partners, 2 teaspoons is in each one. 3 teaspoons make up a tablespoon, and we need one tablespoon. So just as Leslie and Mary Kate told me, 1.5. Let's use our scissors. Whoops, I should have done that right over the bowl. I don't know why I did not. So I always tell the kids to do. All right, here's the next one. I know I didn't. I don't want to get a piece of packaging in there. I'm just eyeballing it. If you are home, you should be measuring out 1 tablespoon. All right, putting that aside, I'm going to put that in there. There it goes. I'm going to clean this up because I just made a mess. Okay, how much pepper do I need? I need 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and I need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm using fine salt today, and not kosher salt. And I'm not sure how this recipe was devised, but I'm going to add a little bit less than 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Just a little bit less, because I can always add more salt. You can always add more, but you can't take it away. That's what my dad always said. So I think that's wise advice, sage advice. So I'm going to do just a little bit less than that because I don't want it to be over salted. And little kids, they're really sensitive to salt. So if you're cooking for little kids, they don't need a lot of salt. They hate it when it's salty. Older people, they like a lot of salt, but they can always add more, right? And here's my black pepper. Black pepper, add as much as you want. 1/2 teaspoon. And then we're going to use smoked paprika. This is coming in a little package. And I need 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. So I need my glasses. All right, there it is. Okay. And you want to fill it to the top. And you always want to level it off. Just like that. There's my smoked paprika. The smoked paprika makes it, people. Although one time I was without the smoked paprika and I just added regular paprika, and it still was pretty darn good. It's the dill. The dill is really flavorful. There's feta in there, so I'm going to add the feta now. Just now I'm thinking about feta. Oh boy, here it is. It's 2 ounces of feta. So if you buy one of those 8-ounce blocks, it's about 1/4 of that. You're going to want to crumble it. So if you've got kids and they've got, busy little hands, you can just give it to the kids and have them crumble it with their hands, because I always tell the kids, your hands are your best tool, right? So they don't need to do anything. Or you can give the kids a butter knife and have them cut it up that way if you want. I am a full-grown adult, so I'm going to use my chef knife right here. I'm not going to use my hands because then they'll be a mess and I'll have to go over there and try to wash them, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to leave you for even a minute. All right. So the feta is crumbled. All right. All of it. Boom. And it goes. So when I first saw this recipe, I was like, really? Black beans and dill and feta? That does not seem, and smoked paprika? That does not seem right. You are going to be amazed when you eat this. It's so good. It's like, and it makes sense, when I thought about it. We put dill pickles on burgers. Why would we not put dill in the burger itself? It's not such a crazy notion. All right. Now I think we have to add an egg. That might be the last thing we have to add, right? Is that true? Let me see. Black pepper. Oh, I need to add the breadcrumbs and the flour. Breadcrumbs and the flour. Let's do that. Breadcrumbs. I need to add, let's see, 1/2 cup. So if you're a part of the community, one of our community partners, you got your breadcrumbs in a bag like this. I'm going to get my 1/2 cup dry measure. Were they measured out completely perfectly, Mary Kate, or was it a little bit more?
I think they were...
I guess I'll find out.
Say, yeah.
I cannot say.
Each was different, probably.
They're all different. That's all right. You know what? It looks to me, if you got this at home, it looks to me like you got enough for 2 black bean burger recipes. So hang on to the other one. And you can make it again because I'm sure you're going to want to after you've tasted it. It's amazing. All right, so I did it. I measured it up higher than it needs to be, but we won't need to level it off. And so I'm just going to use this here, whatever is nearby. There it is. All right, 1/2 cup breadcrumbs. In they go. And now I need 2 tablespoons of flour. Oh.
Those definitely need to be measured in the bags.
All right, so whatever bag you got, you need to measure that, okay? Don't dump it in. You'll be having a dry, pasty, crumbly sort of bread, yucky, it won't stick together sort of black bean burger. So, usually when I get flour at my own home, I put it in a plastic container. But all right, I'm going to keep using this as my straight edge. It doesn't matter what your straight edge is, but you just want to make sure, so when you're measuring something out, right, that's not 1 tablespoon, is it? No, it's not 1 tablespoon. So you measure out and you level it off. There's 1. And I want to make sure it's 2. Yep, it's 2. And here we're using whole wheat flour. If you don't have whole wheat flour at home, I don't think it's any big deal. We are just trying to make it a little bit healthier. That's it. But it's only 2 tablespoons, so it's not the end of the world. If you have 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, that's fine. Okay. Now I believe I have all the ingredients in here. Everything is in here. And I'm going to, with the exception of my egg, and I'm going to take and crack my egg. I'm going to crack it in a little bowl, just in case, what if I put a whole shell in there or something, or what if it's a rotten egg? Has that ever happened to you? Has it happened to you? It's happened to me too. Rarely, but it does happen, and then you'd be so sad after all that work, right? So there it is. It's a perfectly good egg. So I'm sticking it in with the rest of the ingredients. All right, so now I'm just going to take my little spatula. I'm going to break up that egg and kind of whisk it around a little bit or stir it up. And now I'm going to just try to incorporate all of the ingredients. And the goal is just to get it to be like a nice, I want it to be all incorporated, all uniform. So it makes a nice black bean burger. This serves 4 people. If you like smaller burgers, it could serve up to 5 people, but we're going to make it serve 4 people. And we're not having any sides. We're just going to put our condiments on top. We're going to put our toppings. We're going to have tomato, pickle, lettuce. You could have onion. I love purple onion on burgers too. And then I think a really good side for this would be, you could have a salad. That's if you want to really be eating I think sweet potato fries would be good. What do you think? What do you ladies think? Sweet potato. I know you're a big fan of the sweet potato. Mary Kate loves sweet potato fries. And that would just, what I mean? That's that's an amazing healthy meal that is absolutely delicious and filling.
Our Hungarian sweet potato hash goes good with it too.
Oh yeah, I love that Hungarian sweet potato hash. That is the bomb. I make that all the time. I love that with eggs.
Yes.
That's my favorite. I was just, and I'm going to tell you guys something. People in my family are not necessarily as wild about that recipe as I am. I'm not sure why. Probably because I like it so much they don't like it. And so, I just go and make that for myself and, serve it as a side dish. I'm like, oh, no, you don't want to eat it? All right, more for me. There we go. All right, so can you do me a favor? Mm-hmm. Can you put a little bit of water in there? So I'm going to form 4 little patties, and I'm going to use water in my hands so it doesn't stick to my hands and get all disgusting, right? So there it is. And so I'm just going to eyeball it. The first time I made this, I didn't do such a great job, but I'm a pro now here. All right, so I'm going to eyeball it. I'm just going to divide it up into 4 equal pieces. So there's 1 divide, and there's another divide, and here's my last divide. Right? Does that seem about equal? It does. Okay, and I'm just going to use my water to make sure that it doesn't stick to me. All right. And this, unlike a meat burger, it's not really going to shrink. So make it the size you want it to be. You don't want it to be too thick because it does have to cook in the middle. It's got an egg. All right, there's one. Here's another. You guys are going to join me for this, right?
Of course.
All right, good. That's why Mary Kate does this job. Just. All right. I think we should have like a food truck. We should have the FoodRight food cart, right? And we should make, our different whole food plant-based, dishes and sell them. What do you think?
Yeah. To fund that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. All right, now I'm going to get that off my hands. All right. So, I'm going to get this going. Here it goes. I'm going to wait for that to heat up a little bit while I get all the goo off my hands. Oh boy. All right. Goo is gone. There. Just a little bit of oil. And I got a little carried away there. I don't know what I was thinking. All of a sudden I realized I'm like, I'm not deep frying anything here, but I got carried away. Sorry, everybody. You can add far less oil than I just did, but all right. There, I got to get them. They're sticking. Okay, they're up. They're ready. I'm going to clean off my little thing. So, because while they're cooking, I'm going to cut up my toppings. And we're having pickles and some lettuce, and of course tomato slices. And I'm going to get my dish all ready to go too, so you can see how pretty it looks. And I'm going to get my bun ready to go too. It's not that. It looked like it was more. It's not that much. It's not that much oil. All right. So here's a little trick. So when you put your hand over it, not on it, of course, when you put your hand over the pan and it feels pretty warm and you're a little uncomfortable having it there, that's when it's ready to go. There it is. Now this little tiny stove, I know it looks like it's just like a tiny little Barbie camper stove. I'm telling you, it's more powerful than my stove at home. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit. I'm going to put mine on medium high. I don't know what your stove is like at home. You'll be the best judge of that, but you want it to cook for about 4 minutes on each side, I think. Just trying to get it, you're trying to get it to cook all the way through, but also kind of like crisp up on the outside too. So while that's happening, let us attend to our toppings. I'll also get rid of this stuff right here, all my garbage. All right, so I'm going to get a little plate out so we're ready to go. Here's my plate. So I've got lettuce. I'm just going to put that into different sizes for my burger. All right, that's ready. Then I'm going to take my pickles and I'm going to slice those up. Here we go. I still need to turn that down a little bit. There it is. I'm just going to make some thin slices with my pickles. I love pickles. They're my favorite. They're your favorite too?
I love dill too.
Dill.
I just put some dill on my desk and
smell the dill. Those are yummy pickles. All right, and then last we're gonna do the tomato. I'll show you how I do a tomato. Let me check and see how these are going before I start working on that tomato. All right, I'm flipping it. And I'm lowering the heat. This, I'm telling you, this little stove, woo, it's a dynamo, man. Okay. And this is not, you're not trying to make a fluffy pancake here. So you can, you can mash it down a little bit. You can mash it down with the back of the spatula. I'm going to lower the heat a little bit. And I had some eyebrows raised as I was adding oil here. But I'm telling you, I was right. And they were wrong. Wasn't that much oil after all. All right. So while that's cooking on that side, I'm going to show you how to do the tomato. So the tomato we have, this little, what they say the core, that's where the stem was. So whenever you see core and seed a tomato, I'm not going to teach you how to seed right now, but I'll teach you how to core it. So some people like to take the paring knife and do it. I mean, I think you can easily do it also with just a regular chef knife. Just take the tip, hold it like this, and just kind of put it in an angle, and then just kind of work around, kind of sawing it around. So that comes right out. There it is. Bye-bye. And then we're making slices because this is a burger, right? So that's pretty easy. And tomatoes are problematic when you have a dull knife. So may I suggest, if you don't have a chef knife, you should get a chef knife. Really, you just need a few tools in the kitchen. One of them is a chef knife. One of them is a really good cutting board. One of them is a pan. One of them is a spoon. I lived for many years with hardly any cooking equipment. That's the minimum. That's what you need. And pretty much everything can be done with those things. Everything else is kind of gravy. All right, so there are my condiments right there. But the chef knife, that's of paramount importance. So you can get a really good one, actually, for pretty darn cheap. Like $20 or less, you know. $15, $20, you can get a pretty good one. But you definitely need, uh-oh, here we go. We're burning here. You definitely need here we go. You need a knife sharpener. And this is a super cheap one. I bought this at, I don't know, Walmart, $9. And that sharpens your knife and that keeps you happy in the kitchen. All right, so there it is. I'm done with that. And I think these are kind of smoking. I don't have a normal kitchen here. All right, I think we're done. This looks done to me. All right. So it is done. I say it's done, so it is done. I don't know if yours is done or not, but mine looks pretty done. I'm going to put it on a plate because then I'm going to add like a little, you could serve it up right now. That'd be fine. You could do that. Oh, you know what I think I should put on this is sriracha mayo. I love sriracha mayo. Yeah, Mary Kate seems excited. Mm-hmm. So Leslie is too. So I'm going to put these over here. I've got the heat way down. And I'm going to just put my burgers on there, my little burger buns, like a little butter burger, right? I'm going to just toast it a little bit. Okay. These are nice buns. I've got some nice buns. So I've been told. All right, here we go. Let's see. Did it go out? All right. So what to do if you don't have black bean burgers? I think, you could use any bean with this recipe, but I think black bean is nice just because it gives it a nice color. It looks more burger-like. But if you didn't have any, it would not be a big deal. I think you could easily substitute like red beans or pinto beans. I mean, you might even be able to substitute white beans. That might look a little strange, though. It would look more like a chicken burger, right? So not like a real burger. All right. So, all right. There they are. Toasted. Done. We're done. Ooh, nice. Okay. Here it is. There's my burger. Here is my lettuce. Here's my tomato. Lovely. Here are my pickles. Here it is. Put that one there to toast right now. Take those out right there. And then what should I put on it? Ketchup?
Definitely.
Do we have mayonnaise? I like mayonnaise on mine. Do we have mayonnaise?
I think so.
Yay!
Yep.
All right, I'm putting some ketchup on mine.
Ooh, we do have hot sauce too.
We have hot sauce? I love condiments. Mary Kate's like, this is
Here you go.
the
Sriracha
good.
chili sauce.
Woohoo! Woohoo! All right, I'm putting a little sriracha on there. Not too much because I did not know sriracha came in a non-sriracha brand, but you know, who knew? It does. There it is. All right, I don't want to go crazy. You don't want to. Remember what I said before? Like you can always add more. You can't take it away, so you don't want to go crazy. And here's a little mayonnaise. All right, there it is. And just I don't know. Should I put a little more? Well, you never have too many condiments, right? Right. Let's have a little more. Ta-da! And there, look what you made. You made this beautiful black bean burger. I hope you enjoy it as much as I'm going to enjoy it with Mary Kate and Leslie as soon as we turn this off. So I want to thank all the people that came today. Thank you all my Facebook friends that came and joined me today. My first Friday community cooking night that I've done since we started these. So I may be back next week. It depends on if I win. No, I won't. I won't be. I may be back next week. It depends on if I win the arm wrestling match with Stephanie. We'll see how that goes. She's been working out, I heard. And if you want the recipe, I know you all got you can go to our website, as I said before, www.foodright.org. And you can see this recipe, the black bean burger recipe, and all of our other amazing recipes. You can also go to the Learning tab, and you can see all the different lessons that we've had and Facebook Lives we have. So if you really like this show, you can go and see other shows that Stephanie did. And thank you once again for all of our partners that came. So thank you, Bayview Community Center, Casa Maria, COA Family Centers, River West Food Pantry, and Next Door. And bye, everybody. Enjoy. See you guys next week.